Hi, welcome back to section 3.5, and as promised, now we're going to be doing combinations of transformations. So, on this first one, let's write down all the transformations we have, and then we'll talk about whether it matters what order we do those transformations in when we're graphing by hand. So I'm going to highlight all the different transformations and we'll go from there. So let's just write them down in the order they come and graph it that way, and then we'll go check it with Desmos and see if we get the right answer or not. So the first thing that happens is we have a negative outside. That, remember, is going to be a reflection across the x-axis. Then the second thing we do, it looks like, is multiply everything by 2. So the pink one, and when I say everything, I mean the y coordinates, because this is a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. Okay, the third one that is +1 inside. So remember, when it's inside, it's a horizontal shift. And those go the opposite way we think they should. So it's +1. I always think it should go right, but it goes left instead. And the last one is a vertical shift. And those always go the direction that we think they should. So vertical shift, since it's a -3, we're going down 3. So first, we've already got our absolute value of x on here. So we have 1, 1, 2, 2, 0, 0, -1, and -2. So for each one of those points that I just drew on the graph, I am going to do the transformations in the order they're listed right here. So first, I reflect across the x-axis. So -2, 2 becomes -2, -2. Then I vertically stretch that by a factor of 2. So multiply it by 2 gives me a -4. Then I'm going to shift it left 1 and down 3. 1, 2, 3. So that point moved there. Okay, let's move the next one. So first we reflect it across the axis, multiply it by 2 because we stretch it by 2, move it left 1 and down 3. So now it's right there. I think. Let me make sure I've got that right. 5, this one was 4. Okay, good. Okay, so now let's do the 0, 0 point. when it's on the x-axis, if we reflect it across the x-axis, it doesn't move. Multiplying it by 2 doesn't move it. But then we're going to shift it left 1 and down 3. So it's right here. And then by the symmetry, we can just fill in our other points. Or if you wanted to, you could use the same shifting. So reflect, multiply by 2, left 1, down 3, etc. So here is what we ended up with. Let's go to Desmos and see if that is correct. So get to Desmos here. Sorry, should have already had this pulled up. Okay, we are graphing the absolute value of x, and we need to compare that to -2 absolute value of x plus 1 minus 3. Okay, so we have the point -1, 3, and we have a y-intercept of 0, -5. Let's go see if we have that correct. So we have -1, -3, and then we have 0, -5 for our intercept. So we're good. Now, could we have gone wrong? The answer is yes. So let's try it again with a different order. I know that a lot of times students like to graph the horizontal and the vertical shifts first. So we know this way is correct. Let's do an incorrect way. So what if we do the horizontal shift and then the vertical shift, and then, then we do the vertical stretch, and then the last thing we do is reflect. So let's do that in a different color here. So I take my point, vertical stretches go up or down, not left or right. So vertical shift down 3. So I take my first point, I move it left 1, down 3, then I multiply that by 2, and then I reflect it back across the x-axis. So that puts it right here. If I do that to the next one, left 1, down 3, multiply that by 2, and then reflect it across the x-axis. For 0, left 1, down 3, multiply it by 2, and then reflect it across the axis. So here is what I get if I do the order that way. So this is wrong. Now, the good part about when you do your homework is that it doesn't matter what order you change stuff in, Pearson will do it correctly. And I will show you how to do all that in a minute. But the point being, when we go by hand, we have to do the transformations in the correct order. And the best way to make sure you have the correct order is to follow the order of operations. So if I put x in to this equation, the first thing I do should really be the horizontal shift. Because the first thing I do is parentheses, right? An absolute value acts like parentheses. So I should do the horizontal shift first, because when I'm evaluating, when I plug a number in, that's the first thing I'll do. The second thing I will do is the vertical stretch, because I would multiply that 2 next. The third thing I would do is the reflection, because that would be the third multiplication I do. And then the very last thing I would do is the vertical shift. And if you always follow the order of operations the way you evaluate it, you'll never go wrong. Just briefly, I want to show you how to use the graphing tool in MyLabs. So if I have x minus 1 quantity cubed plus 6, we know that I need to start with an x cubed, so I'm going to go over here and pick the cube tool. And I'm going to just click at 0, 0. That puts my normal cube tool. The minus 1 we know is a horizontal shift. So I'm going to come down here in the middle in this little gray box that popped up. And horizontal shift, I know it goes right 1. So I'm going to move the slider here right till it says 1. And you see it shifted the graph. If I had a vertical shift, same thing. If it was up, I could move it up. If it were down, I could move it down. But we don't, well, we do have one in this problem, don't we? We have a vertical shift of plus 6. So I will vertically shift that up 6. Now, if I have a horizontal stretch or compression, I go to the horizontal stretch or compression and just type in what I have. So say it's 3. So I did that. You see it got much squishier. What if I had a vertical stretcher compression? Well, I just use the left box that's for vertical stretcher compression and put whatever number that is in there. So say it's 1/2. So I would just type in 1/2 and Pearson will fix it for me. Now, if I need to reflect across an axis, if I need to do it over the x-axis, I just check the little box. If I need to do it over the y-axis, I check the reflect over y-axis box. So that's how you use this thing to graph.